What if I told you that your secret beliefs about other people, your kids, your employees, even your friends, could actually change their reality? That your expectations aren't just idle thoughts, but are more like powerful prophecies just waiting to come true? Now, this isn't magic. It's a very real psychological phenomenon, and it all begins with an ancient story about a sculptor.
So, our story doesn't start in some modern psychology lab. Nope, we have to go way back to the world of Greek mythology, because it's here that we find the roots of one of the most fascinating ideas about human potential.
So, you've got this guy, Pygmalion. He was a master at his craft, a brilliant sculptor, but he'd grown pretty disillusioned with the real world. So he decided, you know what, I'll just create my own ideal. He poured every ounce of his skill and artistry into this one incredible statue.
He became completely obsessed, totally captivated by this statue. He started treating it not like a piece of ivory, but like a real person he loved and admired. For him, her perfection was an absolute fact.
And this is where the myth gets really wild. The story goes that the gods, seeing his incredible faith and total devotion, decided to grant his deepest wish. The statue, who he named Galatea, came to life. She was literally sculpted into reality by the sheer power of his expectation. A beautiful story, right? But what's amazing is that it's also the perfect metaphor for a very real psychological principle.
Okay, so let's jump from ancient Greece into the world of modern psychology and see how this old story plays out in our actual, everyday lives. It's something called the Pygmalion Effect.
To put it simply, when we genuinely believe in someone's potential and we hold them to high standards, they tend to rise to the occasion. It's like our belief acts as a spark, igniting a much higher level of performance in them. It's basically a self-fulfilling prophecy, but for success. So, how does that actually work?
Now this right here, this cycle is really the key to understanding the whole thing. It all kicks off with our belief about another person. That belief then actually changes our actions towards them. Maybe we give them more challenging projects, more encouragement, or better feedback. Well, our actions start to influence their beliefs about themselves. They start thinking, hey, maybe I really can do this. And that new confidence changes their actions. They start trying harder, they take more risks, they perform better, which in turn reinforces our original belief. See? It's this powerful, positive feedback loop. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a nice theory, but is there any proof? Oh yeah, there is. Let's look at one of the most famous experiments ever done on this by two researchers named Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson. So that researchers went into an elementary school and gave all the students a pretty standard IQ test. Then they just randomly split the students into two groups. The crucial thing to remember here is that on average, both groups of kids were completely identical. Same abilities, same IQ scores. But here's the twist. The researchers told the teachers a little white lie. They said that the kids in Section A were academic bloomers, that they were about to show this incredible intellectual growth. And they told them Section B was, well, just average. So let me just hammer this point home. This was a total fabrication. There was absolutely no difference between the kids in Section A and Section B. The only thing that had changed was the expectation that was planted in the minds of the teachers. And the results? Well, they were absolutely stunning, as you can see here. At the end of the school year, all the students took the IQ test again. The kids in Section B, the average group, they showed normal improvement. But the students in Section A, the ones the teachers believed were special, their IQ scores shot up. We're talking an average of 12 points, with some kids gaining more than 20 IQ points. The teachers' high expectations created a whole new reality. They gave those kids more attention, more encouragement, and tougher assignments, and the students rose to meet that belief. Incredible. So we've seen the unbelievable power of positive expectations. But as you can probably guess, this force has a dark side. It's a real double-edged sword. And that brings us to the Golem effect. You can think of it as the Pygmalion effect's evil twin. When we have low expectations for someone, it can kick off a downward spiral that leads to worse performance. Our negative belief becomes its own self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's make this real. Imagine a parent who believes their child is just no good at math. They're going to act on that belief, right? They might be more critical, less patient, or just not bother offering help. The child starts to internalize this message. Their confidence takes a nosedive, and they start to avoid math altogether. And guess what? Their performance suffers, which just confirms the parent's original negative belief. It's this really damaging cycle, and you can see it everywhere, at home, at work, in schools. Okay, so this brings us to the most important question of all. How can we take control of this incredible force in our own lives? This really is the central question, isn't it? Every single day, in every interaction, you are setting expectations. Are you creating a Pygmalion effect that lifts people up? Or are you accidentally creating a Gollum effect that holds them down? And this applies to your employees, your family, and maybe, most importantly, to yourself. So what have we learned? Well, it's clear our beliefs are not passive. They are active forces, constantly shaping the people around us for better or for worse. But this brings up one final crucial question. What about the expectations we have for ourselves?
And that leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, the Galatea Effect, named, of course, after Pygmalion's statue. This is all about your own self-expectations. See, the Pygmalion Effect is external, it comes from others, but the Galatea Effect is all internal. It's the powerful idea that your belief in your own abilities is one of the biggest drivers of your success. People who are truly self-motivated, the ones who tell themselves, "I can do this," are so often the ones who actually succeed, sometimes against all odds.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up everything we've talked about. The trust you place in others and in yourself. It's not just some fuzzy feeling. It's an instruction. It's like you're handing them a script for how to act. So choose your words and your beliefs very carefully. Because you're not just thinking, you're writing the future.